The truth about ambition, and does it make you more anxious or less anxious? Or neither?
Or neither. That's what we're going to be discussing in today's podcast.
Episode of Get Real
With the English Sisters.
If you enjoy this podcast,
Yeah, please follow and share with your family and friends. And you can watch us on YouTube as well. And you can follow us on Instagram.
at Get Real with the English Sisters.
Yeah.
And also we also have the English Sisters account. So we've got two,
We've got two, yes.
since there's two of us.
Yeah, that's right. So now let's get down to the gritty nitty of this ambitious story.
Does it make you sexy, I was reading?
I think it does, personally, but it's a balance, isn't it?
Well, I think if you're too ambitious and you neglect like your personal relationships, it wouldn't make you that
It's the opposite
sexy.
of sexy, isn't
Well,
it?
it might make you sexy until you get to know the person. And
Yeah,
think,
you might
"Oh,
think, oh, they're really ambitious, and there's that. I think what's sexy can be the drive in them. Because I find an ambitious person to be sexy because I see them as like symbolizing life itself, because they're like, they've got, that was
That's a
very
good advert for them.
No, it's because they're like full of life, because they're full of energy and they have that vitality. Whereas if somebody is lacking in ambition, sometimes I think, it's like the plug's being pulled out of it. I want to see a bit of that life, that sparkle, but maybe I'm confusing ambition with something else, like many of us do.
I think so, because I think, yes, if you're really ambitious and really driven in what you're doing,
Sorry.
you can be very inspired. I think you're maybe confusing ambition with inspiration.
Yeah, I think I am.
About a subject or a topic or something.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, that's what just as I was saying it, I was beginning to think, maybe I am.
Are ambitious people inspired? I think they probably are.
Well, you see,
I think the two probably come together.
Yeah, I think obviously, if you are overly ambitious, it means you're maybe neglecting a part of your personal relationships or your family or something, and then there's nothing less sexy than that, is there? Because you just see somebody as almost being ill. If they're focusing on one thing.
Well, yes, if they don't have the time to smell the roses and do something else. If it's just one thing 24/7.
A lot of entrepreneurs, though, when they do begin a business, for example, they don't have the time to smell the roses.
They do. They smell the roses of the business.
Yeah, but that's not the point. That's just they're focused on one thing. That's like, a dog with a bone. No, what I mean by...
It doesn't become attractive because people around you, like your friends, your family, the people that you love, all like think, there's something wrong here. I'm not getting any attention.
Yeah, they're becoming a bit obsessive here. And we know that when you do start up a business, you can become like that.
But I think if you're too much like that, you have to stop a minute and take a deep breath and think, yes, okay, it's really good to be 24/7 on my startup or whatever. But if I do take like a day off where I unplug my phone and I go off and I do something that's mindful or inspiring in a different way, that has positive effects on your work afterwards.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It would definitely have positive. The thing is, like, as I was saying, with the dog with the bone, it's very hard to get the dog to let go of the bone. Unless the bone is...
another treat.
Exactly. Or unless the bone is, when they put it in that nice little hole, they dig a nice hole and they're safe. So I think with the entrepreneur, as long as he gets more or less everything done that he needs to, or she, they need to get done, then maybe they can settle when the bone has been buried for a short while until they go and, uncover the bone again. So, but it's a tricky one, really, because...
It's funny that you said he there, because I'm thinking that you maybe subconsciously you think most entrepreneurs are men.
I don't know. I think it's, probably subconsciously I was, but I was also thinking of the dog.
The dog was a man.
The dog was a boy. I was thinking of your little Otto, and that's why I was saying he. But maybe, yeah. I mean, centuries and centuries have.
Otto doesn't think of bones.
I know he
he
doesn't, but
never
he's a
had
little
one.
boy dog, isn't he? That's why I thought of he, but it could be. Yeah, I mean,
But I
obviously,
wonder, no, because I'm also thinking that women tend to.
be less ambitious.
No, I wouldn't
times.
say they're less ambitious, but I'd say that they're less. They know how to like multitask more. They know how they've been
Brought up.
conditioned and brought up to like do more. So
Yeah,
not
so
just
in a way, they're
focus on
more
one
ambitious,
thing.
really,
Well, they
but
don't
they-
focus on one thing, so they're used to compartmentalize and like focus
I
on many
agree.
things at the same time, so that they might not, get so fixated on one thing.
And sometimes
They
a
have
highly
time to have-
ambitious woman is not seen as a positive in today's society, is it?
Well, it's not really.
They're
no.
considered as
Yeah,
almost.
they're considered. It's not a very. They're not considered that sexy.
That's what I was thinking about. Are they considered sexy? I mean, I would think
I
yes.
would think they would be, but
because they're like very ambitious and
I think
they're-
there's still a long way to go for women in that department.
Yeah, well, that's another discussion, really. But yes, in general, ambition, it's a tricky one, really, because there's a delicate balance you've got to achieve in order to be happy and not anxious. Because I think sexy, ambitious person
It's not anxious.
that's it. They're like
They're happy.
they've got the drive, but yeah, they're happy. Exactly, they're like
They're content.
they're content, yeah, even if they're not laughing all day, but you can see they're excited about what they're going to be doing, and that excitement is contagious. Whereas somebody who's just ambitious but is a perfectionist and is always putting themselves down and is always, stressing about something, that's not nice to be around, is it?
Yeah, because just because you're ambitious, it doesn't mean you're successful.
No, I know. Yeah.
So you could have that perfectionist quality in you, like what you were saying, and then at the same time you could be, you might not be that successful because you're actually burnt out and you're
Exactly.
overthinking things and overworking and overdoing.
And even if you are successful and you've reached what you want to get to, wherever you want to get to, you may still not be that content, really. Because there's always something else you're striving for when you're very ambitious.
Well, it leads to burnout, doesn't it? It leads to that famous burnout we've all heard, and we've got so many clients that happens to.
Yeah.
Because you're just focusing on one area of your life and you're neglecting the other areas, and then you can't,
Do you think ambition is learnt? Is something you learn
maybe,
as a child,
yeah.
or is something
Maybe if
that's
you have
in?
a lot of ambitious people around you, I think it encourages you to be ambitious. But it could also go the other way. It could encourage you to say, I don't want to be like that.
Depending
I
on what
just wanna
model you've had in life.
I just want to be calm and just be like, I'd be happy with my little everyday moments. I don't always need to strive for more. I mean, does ambition mean that you always have to strive for more? Or just it means that you have goals that you would like to achieve?
I think, yeah. I mean, the definition, let me get my little note here. Here it says, ambition is a driving force that motivates individuals to pursue their goals and aspirations.
Yeah.
I
I
mean-
think it's a good thing because, like, say if you're studying, if you're ambitious, you're more likely to finish your degree or your course of studies than if you're not.
Yeah, it can be positive and it can lead to personal and professional growth.
Exactly.
But it can also become negative and consume one's thoughts and actions to the point of neglecting important relationships. That's
Yeah.
what we were saying before. Yeah, it's just reading the notes off here. Yeah. I mean, in our lives, personally, who was more ambitious, do you think? Mum or dad, if we look at our parents? Mum, yeah, you didn't say one moment, yeah.
Mine was definitely more
ambitious, yeah. She wanted to even get into the real estate thing
Yeah,
where
she
you
wanted to better herself.
She did, yeah.
Financially and mentally.
Definitely, yeah. But
And
do you
she
think
wanted
that,
us to
be the same?
She wanted us to better ourselves as well.
She really
Because
wanted us to
Dad
get
was
higher
just happy with us
education.
just not getting higher
I
education.
know, gosh, yeah. He was
He just thought we'd just go to work, just anything.
gosh. remember being quite surprised by that when I actually heard him
we
say,
should go to university and get higher education.
When he
if
said,
we wanted to, she
yeah,
would never force us.
no, yeah. But maybe she learned ambition more from her upbringing, where she was brought up, you know.
Well, she was brought up by that really rich auntie,
Yeah.
but her mum was poor, very poor.
But her upbringing, she was brought up by the rich auntie. She
Until
lived
she was
in
15.
Yeah, so that must have influenced her a lot because
I think so, yeah.
she
She
lived.
talked about the rich auntie that had all the real estate. And
She did, yeah. So
but
maybe.
but she also had a lot of negative connotations towards money.
Well, that's
Because
because
does ambition, is money and ambition tied together?
they are tied together. I do believe they are, because a lot of people in the imaginary collective idea is an ambitious person is somebody with a financial success. So, and very often, the more ambitious they are, the more money they have. A lot of people think the less happy they are in a way, because they're always striving for more. Like you make a
There's
certain.
been like scientific studies on people that are very well off and rich, and they say they are less happy.
Really? I mean, it
Because-
makes you wonder, doesn't it? So why would you be less happy?
Because they say they're less compassionate, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah. They say the scientific studies show that. I know I'm laughing because it's funny.
No, because I didn't realise. Why would they? Because I
they
know
say
of a
they're
lot
not-
of very
they're
rich
not
people.
as
They don't.
They're not as they used
They
to like. They
donate.
used to like. Yes, but it's not the same donating. They don't have that level of compassion that someone that isn't as rich would.
It sounds
So
a bit
that
biased,
they
though,
become.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
of course it does.
Yeah.
But that's what the studies show.
Okay, that's rather odd.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see why, really.
Because
I
I
can't
think they get more
understand that.
used to like
People asking for money, perhaps, and so it's
yeah,
always all the
people
time.
asking for money, and they're always used to donating, and they get more used to just they see it more like
Maybe you get less empathetic the more you see it.
well, they say they get less compassionate. They say like if you show poor people like films of children that are
Sadness,
suffering
yeah.
from awful diseases or something, the poorer you are, the more your system will be activated. Your compassion in the areas in the brain actually light up
Really?
for compassion, and then the richer the people are, the less compassionate they become.
I wonder if that's because they've been desensitized, because they have seen so much of it, and so many people always asking.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Because obviously when they do these scientific studies, there's also lots of things they don't take into consideration
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So you always wonder, how true it is or not.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? But anyway, because I do think there are lots of people that can be extremely wealthy and extremely compassionate, but in the end, what are they going to do? They can do as much as they can do, and then there's a limit to it, isn't there? I don't know. Are they going to die of compassion because there's so many other people? It's always you also have to learn to protect yourself. So perhaps this is like a self-defense mechanism. I'm trying to see it as the nicest possible way, obviously. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
We're
I
not-
don't think we have to go down that road.
No, we don't have to go down that road. The road to ambition is a long road, and what I was wondering whether it was like genetical or it was
I don't know
learned.
about
You're
all
taught
that.
to be
I
ambition.
think you are probably taught because there's probably very ambitious families where
Yes.
they strive and
They drum it
your-
into you.
Yeah, and your self-worth is like
based
attached
upon how ambitious
to your
you
ambition.
are.
So if you're not ambition, you just want to stay at home and don't do it. Don't go out and don't do anything.
That's no good.
It's probably not considered that great.
No, a lot of cultures as well, it's seen as a
negative.
Yes, as a big negative. You just want to stay at home and.
But if you think about like the Buddhas and that's what they do. They just stay and they just
Yes.
meditate all
You
day.
would say, what is their ambition? Their ambition is just
They
to
don't
connect.
have ambition, do they?
I think their ambition is to become like one with the world and connect. So they probably are very ambitious people in their own way.
Yeah, but I don't know if you could classify that as ambition.
Well, we've just said ambition is pursuing one's goals.
I don't know.
That's
if
what
they
the
have
dictionary
goals.
says. It's a driving force that motivates individuals to pursue their goals and aspirations. So if your aspiration is to become a monk
To meditate.
and to be able to meditate and really connect, then you are an ambitious person. You managed to do that. But perhaps I know what you mean by what we consider ambition in today's like modern Western world. It's not, you don't associate monks to be ambitious.
No.
Or people that go into these like religious movements or whatever. You don't consider them to be ambitious, but yeah, it makes you wonder.
You'd think they're the opposite, wouldn't you?
But really, it does take a lot of motivating force
Well,
to
it
do
does,
something like
yes.
that. Yeah, so
And a lot of sacrifice. They usually have to give up their families and everything, don't
they do. So, but if we're just thinking about, like average,
they? Just run of the mill.
yeah, so just
Without
like,
going,
I don't know what's happening to us now.
without going into these conundrums.
Yeah, we're getting lost in the monasteries now.
I was already
In
there.
Tibet, yeah, but I don't know. Me too. I can hear the gong. I mean, I can see those rare flowers there that grow only on those mountains. Okay, let's get back to real. Okay, let's get real. This is let's get
I
real.
think, because I think ambition does
Yes.
it cause anxiety. So I think to round it up,
It's a delicate
I
balance.
think it's a
isn't it?
balance. I think excessive ambition can cause anxiety and lead to burnout.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Absolutely, yeah. So how does somebody know when they're being excessively ambitious? Is it other people that tell them? But
Sometimes you can't tell, can you?
No.
You're like so fired up in the moment.
You
And when
cannot.
it's other people say, oh God, but you're
Gets on
always
your
on
nerves,
phone. You're
gets-
always answering. You're never here with me for 5 minutes.
I know, it just gets on your nerves. You say, look, I'm working. But why are you always working?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Because you're ambitious and you... So, yes, it can be...
And so I think the telltale signs of if you see other people getting a bit irritable around you.
I guess so. Yeah,
Just
you're
a
probably...
simple way of looking at it. If you see there's warning signs around you, like
Yeah.
people thinking it's a bit out
Excessive,
of, a bit
yeah.
excessive, a bit out of the ordinary. If you're getting on people's nerves,
Maybe you are becoming excessive,
and then
maybe...
it's time to chill a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're listening to us, you'll probably know if it's too much for you, because there'll probably be other signs in your body that are like giving you warning signs.
Yeah,
like even health things.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
you could be
feeling
having a bit
anxious.
of acid reflux.
Flux, backache,
backaches,
headaches. Yeah, there's so many signs that are telling you that, your
Just
your
slow
body
down a
will
bit.
tell you, yes. So, yeah, you have to, take note of that.
Take note and
And,
take
and
action on it.
yeah, and realize, yes, it's great to be ambitious. It's all a question of measure, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, as everything in life. I mean, it's okay to have one coffee, but you're going to be having 25 a day.
Sometimes I think when I used to think, are we ambitious? Sometimes when I think if we go down that meditative route, sometimes I lose my ambition a bit.
Yeah, a bit scary, isn't it? Do you think I could be content with not doing basically anything? And you start connecting to your own breath, and and that's it. And
Do you remember when there was that period when we were going?
We were
into and we
slightly-
were slightly concerned, weren't we?
because we thought if we're not being a little bit more ambitious, like not wanting to get a podcast started, not wanting to do this, not wanting, then
There's that thing like in Italy they say "chi me lo fa fare."
yeah,
Who makes me do it?
yeah, nobody. It's yourself.
So
The answer.
sometimes we would say that to ourselves, wouldn't we? Because like if we're just in the garden in the summer and just enjoying the roses,
Yeah, and
things,
you
we
think,
would say,
chi me lo fa fare?
why?
Yeah.
Why should we just go?
Why
and-
are we pushing ourselves all the time?
why do we-
Why do we
why
have to
bother?
go to do this public event and speak? I mean, it's stressful.
Yeah.
It's stressful. I mean, last time I spoke in public, I got a migraine from the stress. So I did enjoy it. But if I think about it, I think
challenging.
it's challenging to speak in public because it's different to being like here in our little podcast.
We weren't doing podcasts then.
No, we weren't. But anyway. So you think, yeah, who makes me do this? What is it?
Ambition.
It's the ambition. It's the driving force that makes you do it.
I don't think it's ambition. I think it's
It's a purpose as well, then,
yeah, it's a
isn't it? For us,
meaning.
it's a
It
meaning
gives
in
us
life.
meaning in life, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it gives
So it's our ambition is tied to meaning, I would say.
to have a
giving us
meaning, a purpose as well, because otherwise you say, yeah, who makes me do this? But in a way, I almost feel like I have this knowledge and I've learned so much. I want to share it. And even if just one person writes to us on Insta or on YouTube and says, hey, you know what, something you said helped me, that's great. You know, that's amazing. So maybe that's the purpose.
That is the
That is the purpose. So
I don't know
in
if
that
that's
way
the
we're
purpose.
ambitious.
I think, I think that's what makes us do it, because then when you ask yourself why do it, and then you say yes, because, and also because I think if you push and you grow, if you push yourself to do things that are out of your comfort zone, it means that you're growing, and when you're growing, it makes you feel good.
I think so. It's that personal growth moment that makes you
It makes you feel as if you've changed, you've grown, you're different, you're evolving, you're maturing.
and it's special, isn't it?
It's special. It's instead of just
Learning something new is always great.
instead of just like kind of thinking you're like in a kind of limbo, you're not
Just like
stagnant.
repeating the same process
the
day
Groundhog
after
Day.
day after day.
Well, what do you think? Are you ambitious? Do you think ambition is overrated? Do you feel as if ambitious people are less
Happy
happy
in a way,
or less generous?
or they're more happy.
Or are they more sexy and exciting?
Yeah.
What do you think? Let us know.
Let us know and join and follow us because it helps us grow, and
Come and watch us on YouTube.
we do love hearing from you.
We do love it. Bye-bye.
Bye.